Welcome to Get More Happy. We invite you to journey with us as we find ways, big and small, to get more happy in your
Hi
life.
everyone, it's Elena and Jesse. We are wow. So we have celiac disease, and I accidentally had some gluten last week. And
like a little bit ago, like
a week.
It should be better.
A week tomorrow, and it's not better. I mean, it's better,
but it's not.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah,
yet.
so I'm just kind of blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's okay to feel blah.
It is okay to feel blah. So we were going to talk today about communicating in relationships. Communication in relationships. However it goes.
This one is super pertinent to us right now. We are wedding planning, and it's super fun and super exciting. We just booked a venue, and we have been...
We're not marrying each other.
No, that would be...
That's illegal.
And gross.
And gross.
I don't want to marry you.
I don't want to marry you either.
Gabe and I are getting married.
That's true.
But something that we're having to navigate is figuring out when to speak up about things that we want to share with each other, and when to kind of let it coast, and maybe the things that you have to say aren't going to be helpful to the conversation, and really navigating like when to speak up and when not to, I guess.
Yeah, because what's happening is you're working full time, and you're navigating communicating with Gabe.
Yeah,
because that's all new too.
Yeah. Relationships are weird, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's in friendships, it's in,
in relationships at work, like communicating with your coworkers,
right,
is a very specific kind of communication.
Exactly. Communicating with friends, communicating in classrooms, with a teacher, all of that. It's all different. Yeah. But so what's happening is I have more free time than you. Mm-hmm. And so there are times where the recent thing that happened is that you were stressed out about finding a wedding venue.
Which the one that you found was the one that we booked.
I know.
So I'm very grateful.
Yes. So she was stressed out. She had us all ready to go see a venue, and then realized that they would have to really cut their wedding list down.
That it wasn't going to be enough people, yeah.
Right. And so, but she was overwhelmed and had to work that day and all this. And so without her asking me, I did this on my own without her asking me, and I started looking at venues with their requirements. And she did not ask me to do this. And so then when I started presenting the information to her, she's like, I don't want to think about that right now. And I was going on the assumption that this was the number one thing that she was stressed about, right? Because the day before, this is the number one thing she was stressed about. And so she was very much in the mode of, I can't process that right now. Yeah. I don't want to talk about this right now. And I felt unappreciated because I had just spent all of this time and energy doing something for her that she just wasn't ready to hear. And I think that part of what happened too was that she said she didn't want to talk about it for several days, which I should have known better that means tomorrow. Right. Yeah. And so then sure enough, we worked it out.
Yeah, we figured it out. And the next day we talked about it, and I was like, hey, these are great ideas. I love them. Let's talk about them some more. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was about me talking to her
at a time, at not the right time.
At not the right time.
Yeah.
Exactly. And not being able to let it go when, and also me feeling unappreciated because I did something she didn't ask. So what we've talked about
since then
is I will try.
You've been, it's been like 3 days.
Yeah.
But you've been doing well.
No, I actually have done stuff. It's just that you've appreciated what I've done.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a learning thing,
Yeah.
And I think that for us, it's weird. Our family is extremely close. And so I think that's a weird dynamic for us too, because in the real world, I wouldn't be this involved in your life.
I think that we're trying to navigate what wedding planning looks like, but on top of that, what our relationship looks like now that I'm going to be like attached to another person. And truthfully, we're still trying to figure out like adult Jesse and adult Elena relationship.
Well, and I think that what happened was, the whole virus, like, because when you were in college, I didn't know every detail of everything. It was just what you chose.
But that was a transition too, from living at home to moving to college and figuring out how involved we were and how much we would share. What was going to work for us,
because you're the oldest.
Yeah.
So then you moved back home.
Yeah.
And didn't have a job and didn't have a place of your own. And before you started dating Gabe. And so we were
did everything together.
Yeah, exactly.
We were always together. So they communicate. Although I do have to say, moving back home, and we always noticed this during like winter breaks and summer breaks. When a college kid comes back home, that communication becomes challenging sometimes.
Honestly, it's not even you and I. It's you and your sister. Seriously, because what would happen on vacations is you were used to things going a certain way. And then when you'd go off to college, Becca was still in high school, and you would come home and it'd be like, oh, Jesse, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? All that, right? And then you came home and Becca went to college.
Yeah.
And so you were like, wait, don't I get what I want?
Well, and I think, we'd each started to form our daily habits and our dynamics outside of each other
well, and it's not even the outside of each other, it's the when we're home.
Yeah.
And it would be like, well, when you're not here, this is our habit.
Yeah.
And now you're here, why does it have to be different? And you both did that.
Yeah. But I think that we did get over that hump of
spring
tension.
break. Honestly, it was interesting because I remember spring break last year being
awful.
That tense. Not awful.
It wasn't awful.
It was not awful.
No. It was just
that tension was there.
Little bit of sister rivalry.
And then Becca went back to school for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And moved back.
And it was golden.
And I think it was we know we are all here together.
Yeah.
And so we all worked at the communicating.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the difference was. Yeah. We worked at the communicating. And actually, that was a gift. We had that wonderful time together. But, now that you moved out, so everything happened so fast. You got the job and were able to figure that out and still be with us. But then you moved out, and then Gabe moved in super fast. And so you don't even really know who adult Jesse is.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out.
And so when you don't know who you are, it's hard for us to figure out our dynamic too.
Right, and you're in a place of an empty nester again,
true.
Part two, so you're still trying to figure out who adult Elena is.
That is true. Who not mom Elena is.
You're still mom.
Well, I know, but it's not my...
Yeah, more than mom.
More than mom. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I just came up with it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Something that I always think about when we talk about communication is knowing when to speak up and knowing when not to speak up. Fun story. We were grocery shopping, Gabe and I, the other day. Oh my god, he's the worst grocery shopper ever. And I'm sure he's gonna watch this and be like, ugh. But
does he watch these?
He does watch these.
Aww, that's so sweet.
Hi Gabe. But he like just moves the cart around the store and like will stop in the middle of an aisleway, and you can see everyone around him is like kind of like, what the hell, dude? And I'm like, Gabe, like, move your booty over here. And so I have to really be intentional with myself when we're grocery shopping, because yelling at him in the grocery store is not going to be a productive use of my time.
Yeah.
And telling him you're a bad grocery shopper, there's like, that's not...
As you just did.
I did. As that's not a thing that he can build upon. Right. It was more of an annoyance.
Yes.
And so not a thing worth communicating to him.
So what is your reason for saying whatever it is you're saying?
Yeah.
Is it because you're annoyed and you just want to throw up on somebody?
Yeah.
Or is it something constructive? Is it something that you can work on, something you can work towards? I think Lisa on TikTok one day did is it true? Because that's another thing. Like, you thinking that he is a bad grocery shopper is opinion. It's not necessarily a fact.
Right.
Right? So is it true? And is it necessary to tell somebody this?
Yeah.
And then your timing, and is it kind? Is it kind? You know, like, are you saying it just to get it off your chest?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Well, and another thing is that, you know, it was an annoyance, but it's kind of like a one-time thing, and then I move on and I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But something we learned in RA training is the 48-hour rule. If somebody does bothers you, like really bothers you, and you feel like you want to talk to them about it, you have 48 hours for it to still be applicable for you to mention it.
I like that.
And then after the 48 hours, like, let it go.
Yeah.
Because
like
3 years later, if you're like, Sally Sue, you said this mean thing to me one time.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Right?
You know, I had to learn that when I first got married. You know, we had to, Dad is very much of a fine until he's not fine.
Yeah.
You know? And so then he'd blow up. Well, when you didn't put the cap on the toothpaste, I do put the cap on the toothpaste. It wasn't that. But, you know, but like, you know, oh, you know, when you know how sometimes he loses it. He does the dishes, and he very much,
he's a doer. He likes
to do things.
Maybe not likes to do the dishes,
no,
but he likes to get things done.
Yeah, exactly. And so like there'll be times where he'll ask, you know, like if he won't ask us to do it. He won't ask, and then all of a sudden he blows up because nobody's helped him. And we're like, well, you could have asked.
Another communication.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like we could talk about this like on and on and on and on.
Probably.
But we're going to stop.
Well, we've learned a lot.
We have learned a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to bring this topic back on other days, because communicating is a huge deal.
Pretty important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
All right.
Have a happy day.